Hello everyone. I hope I am audible and visible. Can anyone give me the confirmation? Yes. Hello. Mm, just give me a second. Let me open the live chat. Just a second. Yes. So I hope I'm audible, right? I hope I'm visible as well. Chalo. Any doubts? Yes, sir. Audible. ठीक है. All right. Let me share my screen as well. Right. So ठीक है. I hope my screen is also visible now. So how are you guys? Good evening, everyone. I hope you all are excited for the session, right? Any doubts? Any doubts from the previous 2 days? Anything you want to ask me? Anything you want to clarify? You can ask me. Hello, everyone. So anything else? In the meanwhile, people are joining. Any doubts that you have, you can ask me. Any doubts related to JavaScript, related to HTML, related to CS, related to GitHub, React, anything that you want to ask, it can be a general doubt as well, right? So you guys are coming early. You have an added advantage of asking doubts apart from the session, right? You can ask whatever you want to, provided that it's technical and it, it is under my knowledge, so that I'll be able to answer it. Okay. Good evening, Aryan. Good evening. Good evening, Pachani Chandani. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay. So any doubts? Did you do your yesterday's assignment? Yes. Have you who all have done their assignments? Can they let me know? And how was the assignment? Did you guys find it tough? You found it easy? Anything else? Right? Were you able to do yesterday's assignment? Gaurav says yes. Yes. Okay. Did you take any help from Google, or did you like face any difficulties in that, or were you able to do it in one go? Aryan says it was very easy. Okay, that's really great. I think Aryan, you are already aware of a concept of JavaScript, right? The way you answer things that I guess that you are aware of a bit of JS concepts, right? So that's really great if you are starting. So I have a question from Fahad. Sir, how to improve logic building in JS? See, in fact, anything, right? Not only in JS. If you are trying to improve logic in like C++, Java, there's a thing called as data structures and algorithms, right? That is the only thing that will help you to improve your logical skills. Yeah, in I think in earlier boot camps, I told you about this website called as Lead Code, right? Go on to Lead Code, practice questions. As yeah, the more number of questions you practice, the more you get at problem solving. There is no shortcut to that. There is no tricks. There are nothing. You have to make sure that you are improving your skills day by day. You are going on Lead Code, right? You are spending at least 2 hours a day practicing at least 2-3 questions, right? The number of questions don't matter. The logic and your what do you say, interest towards the question matters, right? Are you able to get the logic? Are you able to do things? That is what really matters. And believe me, within a span of 3-4 months, you can reach out at a decent level. Talking about me personally, I started, in fact, I didn't even touch web development, front end and back end, uh, in the initial 2 years of my college life, right? So I'm also a B.Tech student, right? The degrees of 4 years. And the first 2 years, I did not even touch what you say, web development. I just focused on my logic building skills because I knew, right? I had the right guidance, and that guidance I'm sure that I'll be able to transfer it to you as well, right? And the guidance was, in order to do any language, what matters the most is your problem solving ability. If you're able to solve problems, right, don't worry about the language. The language is just a syntax. Just like I'm talking in English, right? Even if I talk in Hindi, I talk in Malayalam, any language for that matter, it's just a language, right? But what I want to convey, I know it, right? If I know what to convey, the language can be learned. It's not that difficult task. It can take time. I'm not denying. Again, I'm not giving you false hope. It'll take time. It'll take some, right? It'll take some and hard work as well. But if you are good with logical skills, logical buildings, I can guarantee you that you will be a good software developer at any case, at any point of life. Yeah. So it depends, right? Practice lead code, grind lead code. There are platforms like GFG, there are platforms like what do you say, HackerRank. Okay, and even if you enroll in there, I think for full courses, they also will help you improve your problem solving skills. Okay, I'm not saying that you cannot by your own. You can, but it will take the right guidance. If you have the right guidance, you're good to go. Yes, yes, lead code. Hey Ritik, how can I choose the path between Angular and React? Shivam side, as I told you, right? If you're doing it, will the what do you say, the language or the framework that you choose, it will not matter, right? If you are a good software developer. So who is a software developer, right? Let's suppose I'm doing React. I know React. Okay, I know JS. I know C++. I know C. But let's suppose I am in a company. I get shortlisted for a company, and what do you say? That company requires for me to know PHP, right? PHP is again, if you have not heard, it's again it's used in development. Okay, so what will I do? I'll just tell them that I do not know PHP, and I'll just leave that company. Will it? No, it won't, right? I The company have shortlisted me. The company has selected me based on the logical skills that I have, not based on any language, right? Not based on any language. So the point being, if I'm a good software developer, if I'm a good problem solver, learning language won't take time. So it will not depend if you're coming from an Angular background, from React background, from PHP background. It will not, right? The main thing that matters is be clear with your basics, because every programming language has basics, and the basics are similar, right? You have a variable, you have let's suppose you have promises, you have functions in every language, whether it's C++, C, Python, React, and anything, right? You have functions in everything. Such like this, you also have many basic concepts that all language has. Similarly, all language has variables, right? Anything, all language knows a way to take input, they know a way to process the output, right? That's what they call programming language, which I covered on day one. So if I were to answer it in short, React is most widely used. So if there's an option between choosing React and Angular, I would say React. Reason being, it is a very good alternate to Angular. That is why React was made, right? Because it was a good alternate. It's lightweight, it supports many features, it is good for SEO purposes, plus it is a library. That is, it is lightweight. The reason being, it is lightweight, it makes your code light, and which makes, at the end of the day, which makes your cost very less. That's it. So I hope I was able to answer it, right? I think it was Shubham. So okay, with that being said, I think the strength is enough now. Let's get started with today's lectures, right? So uh, today we let me open the text editor for the time being. Is my screen visible, guys? Can anyone give me the confirmation? Yes or no? Is my screen visible? Just let me know if my screen is visible or not. In the meantime, just let me see the topics today. Okay. All right. So good evening. Yes, yes. Okay. Okay. Visible. So, okay. So the first topic that we will be covering today are arrays, right? Very simple and a very basic topic. It's there in every language, right? So let's cover arrays. Anyone? What do you mean by arrays, right? I think if you are coming from a coding background, if you have done even any programming language, be it C++, Python, Java, you must be aware of arrays, right? So what, according to your understanding, do you mean by arrays? Can anyone let me know in the chat box what are arrays? And so arrays are different of how they perform in what do you say, JavaScript versus in other languages. That is, I'll tell you. But given the basic definition that you're aware of, then we'll be proceeding further. Continuous of homogeneous elements. Rakesh, you were correct in half of the part. In JavaScript, your arrays, your collection is not homogeneous. It can be heterogeneous, but only in case of JavaScript. I know you're coming from other backgrounds as well. In that case, yes, it is homogeneous, but it is not in this case. In this case, it is heterogeneous. So if I were to say arrays are a collection of data. Okay. The most important part is and most importantly, they are hetero, heterogen, heterogeneous in nature. Okay. This is very different from other languages. That is what makes JavaScript different, right? It is different and unique in its own way. How is it heterogeneous and how do you declare data? It's not similar data. So that's what I'm saying, right? If the data was homogeneous, then I would have called it similar. I would have called it similar, but not in this case because homogeneous. Okay? Because homogeneous means same, or I would say similar, whereas heterogeneous, it means not similar. Okay? So and what do I mean by similar, not similar? That all things we'll see. First of all, let me open the code editor. Uh, let me open a new tab and let me just open the file. I think we're working on demo, right? If I'm not wrong. It was demo. Yes, it was demo. Okay. So how do you declare an array? So these are the things that we covered yesterday, right? Functions and all these things. So how do we declare an array? For declaring an array, it's very simple. So I just have to mention a keyword called as var, that is a variable in that case, right? Second thing is, yes, Moon, I'll come to that. I got it. Right. Again, the second thing that we have is the name. Let's suppose I want to give it ARR equals to, and here I can write in any collection of data that I want. Okay, this is similar that you do in any language, right? This is similar. So my point being here, so if I try to console.log, ARR, I will get it. Okay, let me just run it. I hope everyone knows the command. How do we run your JavaScript code? Can anyone give me the command for that? Let's see how many of you are revising and how many if you're not. Can anyone give me the command to run my JavaScript code? Anyone? No? What is the command for running a JavaScript code? Yes. What about after node? What is there? Exactly, Mono. Node and then the name of your file. No, not in JS, not JS. Mono, you're wrong. You do not put the extension there. You just put the file name. So in this case, it will be node and the name of the file index. If I do index.js, it won't run. Only index would have to be there. Okay. Now see, I got an array, right? I got an array here. That is consisting of a similar data. Okay, this is similar in all languages, but where the game changes, right? Now I'll show you. Let's suppose I want to have a character. Let's suppose I want to have my name, and let's suppose I want to have another name. So can I have another name? Let's suppose Ayush. Okay, Ayush Raj. So Ayush Raj. Okay. Now, what according to your understanding, the understanding that you have got so far, what would be the answer in this case? Will it give me an error, or will it run seamlessly? Provided that I told you in JavaScript, arrays are not homogeneous. They are considered as heterogeneous. Who will tell me this one? Run. Where to run? Okay. Yes, it will run. Right. The reason being, that in this case, it will be able to show my, because it is heterogeneous. Now I'll show you an interesting thing. Let's suppose I want to what do we have next? I think I have not covered objects so far. So acha, theek hai. There are some properties of arrays, right? There are some properties of arrays. Let's suppose this array is already fixed, right? You cannot change this array. This is written in some backend part, and if you want to, and let's suppose you want to modify your arrays, right? Modify your array. So we have an option for that. We have two methods that we'll be covering. That is, one is array dot. Is it insert or is it shift? So shift is another thing that I will not be covering. So what we'll be covering here is So if you do dot, right, all the methods that could be applied to an array, they all will come here like this. They all will come here like this. Okay. So it has concat method, it has copy with, it has entries, every fill, filter, find index, flat map, for each, includes, it has join, it has keys, it has everything. So if let's suppose you want to see which method is applied for which what do you say, data type, you can just type in dot, and this VS Code extension will give you all the methods that we have. Okay, so I'll be covering you two for now. You can explore the rest later on. Okay, because we do not have time for covering all the methods. So first one is push. Let's suppose you want to add a new element into your array. For that, we use a push. Let's suppose I want to push, let's suppose a value called as 100. Now in this case, if I run it, this will give me 100 array. So what will push do? Push will insert element at the from the last of push will insert an element in the last of my array. Now let's suppose I want to delete. So for that, we have a thing called as pop. So what according to you will be the answer for this one? So we'll just see and we'll just run it. In this case, the 100 that I inserted earlier, now it has been popped. The 100 that I inserted earlier, now it has been popped. As simple as that. Right? So this was all about array. So again, I know it's very basic. You're all aware of array. It's just there is a difference in JavaScript. It's just that in arrays in JavaScript you can also add your data can be heterogeneous, but not in case of any other languages. That is the only difference that we have in JavaScript. Rest all array behaves the same way as in any other languages. That's it. Okay. And again, so arrays, so you all know what are arrays, you all know what do they do. We have another concept in JavaScript that is not there in any other language. Okay, and those are objects. Those are objects. Okay, up now. What do you mean by objects? What are objects? Why do we use objects? What is the difference between an object and an array? I know all you will be having this confusion, but be patient, everything will be clear. So yes, exactly. Monu has answered it right without even me asking you to answer it. That's really great. So all of you are aware of, apart from Monu, what do you mean by objects? What are objects used for? Anyone can let me know in the chat box. What do you mean by objects? If you are aware of JavaScript, if someone is coming from JS background, objects, if you might have covered objects, right? What do you mean by objects? Anyone? And I want a different answer than the one of the Monu has already given, right? I do not want the same answer again. No one? Okay, I'll tell you. Objects are very specific, very limited to JavaScript only. I don't know if any languages have objects apart from that. Objects are a set of key and a value pair. Okay. So without much without much doing theory parts, let's just quickly dive into the code. How do you declare? What is it? What are the different methods that you can apply? We'll all cover that. Okay. So for having an object, it is very similar. Just have to mention the data type. Let's suppose I'm declaring var. Then similarly, just like you did in array, right? Python 2 has object in class. Abhinesh, I'm not aware of Python because I haven't Python. I'm not sure. So don't put me on this. You can just check, or maybe let's check. Does Python have objects? Does Python have objects? No. Object data type. A data type object, for instance, of numpy.team class describes how many bytes of fixed describes. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but you guys please check because I'm not coming from a Python background, so maybe you can check it, right? Maybe you can check it. An object is a string pandas. I think they are referring to a different object here, not the one that we are doing. So ठीक है, I'm not sure. चलो ठीक है, objects are a set of key value. Now how do we declare objects? It's totally similar to the ones we have been declaring variables and we have been declaring arrays. So const or var in this case, let's suppose after that we have to give the name. So let's suppose the name I want to give it as obj. That is a short form of object. Now in arrays you do this, right? You put in two square brackets, but in case of objects you put in two curly brackets. Now apart from this you have, so I told you, right, it is a set of key and value pair. There has to be a key and there has to be a value. So you have to just write a key and a value. So let's suppose I want to write name as Ritik. This is one set, right? This is a one pair. So if I have to write multiple pairs, I have to insert a comma, then I have to write this next pair. If I write next pair, let's suppose if I write next pair without even inserting a comma, this will result in an error. So please make sure that whenever you're writing an object, this is a very common mistake that we do and we're not aware of it. So please make sure you add a comma at the end of the pair. Okay. So now let's suppose I have another object. Let's suppose skills, and here I mention what you say, JavaScript and React. Yeah. So and what is the structure? Let me just console.log and let me show you guys what does it mean. So let me just console.log obj and let me just run it. So this is the structure of an object you get. This was an array, right? This was an array, but this here is an object. It consists of a key and a value pair, right? It consists of a key and a value pair. Similarly, the name is key and the value is Ritik. The name is key, the value is 22. The name is skills, the value is JavaScript and React. Let's suppose I only want a specific value. Okay, I only want a specific value. Even if I want a specific value, I can even do that. Let's suppose I'm doing console.log obj, and let's suppose I only want the skills that I have. So I can do I can use a dot operator, and then I can click on skills. It will just give me JavaScript and React. No, sir, in Python we can do that. Acha, I think some of you are saying that we have a thing called as dictionary. You might be right, but I'm not sure about it, right? So please research and then let me also know. If a key doesn't have a value, will it throw an error? Oh, absolutely. So very good question by Abhinesh. He says, let's suppose I have a key. Let's suppose what hobby, and let's suppose I leave it empty. So will this give me an error? Yes, it will. Let me run and let's see. So it says that unexpected token, right? You can have this. You can have an empty string, right? But you have to at least have something here. Now this will run absolutely fine. This will give me, so if I were to console.log the whole object, this will give me the whole object and the string will be empty. Okay, but you must have something at least. You must have some, and one thing more, it is not necessary to add a comma at the end of the last key. This is the last key. If I add, it's fine. If I don't add, it is optional. It will not give an error in that case. All right. So this is all about objects. So it is a we can put undefined. Yes, we can put undefined. We can put undefined because undefined is a reserved keyword in JavaScript. It can come. It's coming undefined here, right? So that's totally up to you. And we can also put. Let's suppose I have an array. Let's suppose I have this array. Okay. So I can also do it like this. I can also do it like, let's suppose ARR. Let's suppose ARR is my key. Array is my key, and I can put ARR here. So I can also have an array, just like what do you say, Java, just like arrays, they're heterogeneous. Similarly, objects are also heterogeneous. That means they can store undefined. It can store a number also, that is age in that case, and it can also store arrays. It can also store an object inside an object. So let's suppose I make another object. Let's suppose var obj1 equals to, I give it as temp. This is temp value. Let's suppose a demo object that I made. Temp value. ठीक है. Another temp an underscore temp, which gives me an underscore value. ठीक है. अब now see the beauty of it. I can even do it like this. Temp underscore obj equals to, I can have an object here. So this is obj1, not equals to, it's a colon. It is obj1. So this will also give me the same. Yes, functions also you can put. Yes, you can also put functions. So if I run this part, so I also have received an object inside an object. That is JavaScript for you. Okay, clear? Chalo. With that being said, yeah, sir. Okay. Any doubts still here? What are arrays? What are objects? Anything else? Null. Okay, let's try null as well. So let me have this part and let me write age as null. I think it will work because it's a data type. Yeah, it will work. All data types that you have, they no, they are not. Array is not defined. Okay. Just give me a second. Yes. It will work. So I have a null here. Okay. Yes, it will work. Yes. Okay. Chalo. With that being said, now let's move ahead. Right, let's move ahead. So we have a thing called as acha. One important concept that we have. So let's suppose I want to, because JavaScript we use it with HTML, right? We use HTML, we use CSS, and then we use JavaScript, right? So obviously, in order to use JavaScript and HTML, you have to connect it. You have to make sure. Similarly, just like you connect your CSS in HTML, right? You use a link tag. You use a link reference. Similarly, in case of if you want to link your JavaScript file in your HTML code, there is a thing called as a script tag. So script tag. So what will it do? This will link your JavaScript file in your HTML file. Okay. So how do we make a link file? Let me just come to the code. Let me do one thing. Let me just make one HTML file. Let me make it as index.html. If it is not already taken, HTML. It's already taken. Okay. Let me make as index1.html. Okay. So let me just make a boilerplate. And let me just come here. Okay. So how do you add a script tag? You use a keyword called a script src. Okay. Script src, and here you have to mention the path. So in this case, it is / what do you say, index.js. As simple as that. Okay. Now this file has successfully linked to my HTML file. I'll show you. Let's suppose I make a parent div. Let's suppose I make a div here, and let's suppose this I mention a heading to, and I'll say this is final day of the boot camp. This is the final day of the boot camp, and let's run it. Let's run this code. Okay, so here it is. This is the final day of the boot camp, and now if I come here, if I come to console, let me move it to the bottom. Okay, and let me just come to the index file, index.js, and let me just console anything. Let me just uncomment this part out. Okay, and now let's come here. No, not this one. Now let's come here. So as you can see, I think it should not now should be visible, right? So as you can see, now I got the object as an answer here, right? I told you, right? There are two ways to add your HTML, CS, JavaScript. What are the two ways? What are those two ways? The first one being There are two ways to how you can run your JavaScript code. The first one is being with the help of the browser. The second one being with the help of a what? With the help of what? With the help of a Node.js, right? I hope you all know that. So this is the first option that I'm printing. I'm running my JavaScript code with the help of my what? Of my browser, right? So as you can see, I got the object as an answer here. Okay. Now after that, okay, there is a thing called as a okay. There is a thing called as a DOM. Okay, that is, it stands for, I'll tell you, it stands for document object model. Okay, so I'll give you a very basic example. Let's suppose I have a tag. Let's suppose I'm onto this website. LetsUpgrade. Okay, now let's suppose I want to click on a button. Let me first just okay. Let's suppose I want to click on this button, because this is HTML page that is loaded, HTML and CSS page that is loaded in front of me. As soon as I click on this button, let me just refresh. Let's suppose I want to click on this username. Okay. Now, as soon as I click on my username, this drop down box comes here, right? But how is it making sure that I have clicked here on my name? How is it making sure? Tell me, how is it? So what there is, right? Let's suppose this is my HTML and CSS page. This is solely HTML and CSS. How will my JavaScript or how will my HTML know that my JavaScript is connected? That is with the help of script tag. We all know that. But there has to be some event, right? There has to be something that should tell me that, okay, I have clicked on this button and that page should open up. Let's suppose I click on programs. If I click on programs, if I click on programs, this page will open up for me. But how will I make sure that I have clicked on that button, and whenever I am clicking on that button, event is targeting? What is that event? It is landing onto this page. Let's suppose I click on my program. As soon as I click on my program, how will my JavaScript know that this is the page that it has to load, or when the page has to be loaded? It has to be loaded as soon as I'm clicking. As soon as I click on a button, my JavaScript should know that, okay, this user has clicked on a button, and on clicking on a button, I have to load this file. Loading is fine, right? Loading is totally fine. That is the logic that you write. But how will you make sure that you have clicked on a button? How will you tell your HTML that a button has been clicked and now you have to show that page? How? That is with the help of document object model. Okay, it will just tell. It is just a tree-like structure. It is just a tree-like structure that divides your elements into tree. Okay, let's suppose I have a div here. I have a div here. Okay, and I also have a div. This is a parent div. Div. Let's suppose div 1, and I have a div 2 here. Let's suppose div 2. So what is the significance? It says that, okay, this is a parent div. This is div 1. It has two childs. One is div 1 and one is div 2. So if I come here, if I come to my HTML code and index1.html, right? Index1.html, and if I make, this is the main div, and inside inside the main div, I have another div. I have a thing called as div, another div that has an ID of, let's suppose, div 1. And inside that, sorry, not inside that, I also have another div that is div 2. Okay, so what is the structure here? Let me comment out this part for now, or let it just a minute. Okay, if I want to represent in a tree like structure, what will it be? I have a parent div. Okay, I'll give it an ID of parent. I have a parent div. I have one heading. I have two childs. One is div 1 and one is div 2. So how will it be represented? It will be represented something like this. So I have a parent div, that is a normal div that I have. That divs has three childs, right? What are those? One is div 1, right? One is h2 and one is div 2. right? So let's suppose I have a button inside div1, and that button I'm clicking, and I want an event to happen as soon as I click on that button. So how will my HTML know that which button has been clicked? So it will just come here, it will just see, is it div? It's not div. Then it will move to the parent of div. It'll see if it is div, if it is this div. If it is not, it will go to another sibling. If it is div heading tag, if yes, then okay. If not, it will just move to another sibling, right? If I have a button here, if I have a button here and I have clicked that button, I have clicked that button. So this is how it will able to. This is how it is being able to. This is how it is being able to locate the position of the button. It will go to parent. It will search the child. There, good. Not there, not good. There, good. As soon as I click on this button, an event will be firing that will say, okay, I have clicked on a button, and on clicking on that button, you have to show a new page. You have to show a new page. In that case, I have something called as Java, my program page. That is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootcamp. Similarly, it's similar to this page, right? Got it? Naveen says DOM has to be loaded first before JS objects are called. Is that correct? DOM has to be loaded after your what do you say DOM tree has been made. Okay, not before. Yes, after, immediately after. Yes. Okay. This is what you have. Now the second thing comes is, how will you make sure that you have clicked? That is with the help of event listeners. That is with the help of event listeners. You have a thing called as an event listener. If you're clicking on something, you want an event to be fired, there is a thing called as event. Just like I told you, right? It has to be some event. There are multiple types of event. Like you have an event, just like I told before, you have an event called as on click. That means that event will be targeted whenever you click on that button. You have an event called as on change, that will be targeted uh, once you uh, get inside that area. Let's suppose you have an input box and you are clicking inside an input box. So as soon as you click, that event will be targeted. You have a thing called as key press. So when will it trigger? It will trigger as soon as you press a key. I'm pressing a key and I want that as soon as I press some key, I want that event to be targeted. So you have a key press. Again, you have multiple types. You have key press up. You have key press down. You also have key press down, and you also have single key. You also have only key press. There is a very minor difference between them. Will that be covered? Don't worry. Okay. So these are again there are many others. Okay. I'll say dot etc. So this is your homework. You have to see what are the types of event listeners that we have in JavaScript, so that it becomes easier for you to do some projects. Right? It becomes easier for you to do some projects. As simple as that. Any doubts still here? Anyone? Any doubts that you have till now? Anyone? And let me know. Once we move on to the project part. Any doubts? Anything that you want to ask me? Is it clear? Yes or no? चलो ये बता दो. Yes. Any doubts? Okay, Rakesh said no, sir. Shubham, no. What about others? What about others? No doubts, no doubts, no doubts, no doubts. All clear. ठीक है. It works based on a tag name or ID or class name. Which thing that you trying to like? Well, I didn't get your doubt, Rakesh. Where do you declare JavaScript in HTML code? It is standard or is it at bottom? A very good question by Naveen. Okay. So many of you might be wondering, right? Why did I write the script tag here in the body section? Why? What is the reason for that? Because as far as I know, we write the link tag. That is, if you want to link the CSS, we write it above the body, right, in the head tag. But why did I even write it in the body? No one asked me, right? No one asked me this. Why did you, right, why did you add a script tag in the body, provided that we add a link tag in the head section? Why is it? Which is it so? No, you cannot add it anywhere. You cannot, Rakesh. The reason is quite simple. I told you, right? I told you, right? We have a DOM like we have a tree-like structure here. This is a tree-like structure. I think you all will agree with me. Now just imagine your JavaScript file is here. It's in the first part. It's in the head section. It is in the head section. That means that this will get executed first after this part. I hope all of you will. I hope all of you will agree with me. I hope all of you will agree with me in this part that if I write script tag in the body in the head, this will get executed first and then it will come to this line. No, Rakesh, it won't work, right? I'm telling you it won't work. Please just listen to me, and I'll also tell you the reason. I also tell you the cases that it will work and the cases that it won't work. Okay. So you all agree with me, right? But what if I tell you, like, just imagine this is your HTML tree, right? Your code comes here. Okay, it sees whatever CSS is there. It will just go to style.css file and it will just apply the CSS, right? It will just apply the CSS. But sorry, after that it will see that I have my JS file here. It will just go to my JS file. It will see what all values are there. Let's suppose I have an on click event here. Let's suppose I have an on click event here. Now as soon as I have an on click button, this my program will see that where is the div that you have applied an on click. But it is still on line number 8. My all these elements that were there, all these tags that were there, they have still not loaded, right? If I were to have an on click, I'll have it on a div, right? I'll either have it on a div, or I'll either have it on a h2, or I'll either have it on a button. But that button is not existing in my code because it is in the later part of the code, not earlier. So this will result in an error, right? So that is the only reason why we always add script tag in the body section. As simple as that. Because it has to be loaded after your DOM tree has been rendered. Without your DOM tree being rendering it, it will give an error. It will not be working properly. Okay, but there is a, if you want to add it, right? If you want to add it here, you can add it. But if you want to add it in the head section, in the body head section, you have to use a keyword called as defer. If you use a keyword called as defer, this means exactly the same as writing the code in the body section. Defer is a simple English word. It means to load after. I'll just show you the defer meaning. Defer means to leave something until a later time. That simply means that if you're using a defer keyword, if it simply means that it will wait for this whole code to render. After that, this code will be executed. But the basics, the logic is behind it remains the same, that it has to be loaded after your HTML code or your DOM tree has been loaded. That is the only reason we write script tag in the body section, or if you want to write it in head section, we have to use the keyword called as defer. Right? We have to use a keyword called as defer. Yes? Is it clear now, Aryan? Great. Okay. So with that being said, we have a thing. Let's suppose let's try out a small kind of project or something. Okay. You all must have seen a form, right? A form. You have a login form. And what a form tells us, let's suppose I have a form. It'll have two options, right? If I fill in the credentials properly, if I fill in the username and a password properly, it will just give me a welcome message that okay, you have been successfully logged in. It'll land onto another page, right? But whereas if what if the credentials that you write, what if the username or the password that you write are incorrect? In that case, it will definitely show that oops, incorrect password. Please try another password, or please try another email, something like this. Right? So this is the exactly same thing that we'll be doing. We'll be using event listener for that. So please see what is the idea behind it, right? So let's come here, the body section, and let me just make a form. I hope all of you know what is a form, right? A form is something that I'll tell you. If you don't know, I'll tell you. Okay? A form is something which accepts user ID and password, and based on that, it will check. the validation. So I'll have a form. Okay, so I'll give it an ID. I'll give a form an ID. Let's suppose I'm giving it an ID of form itself. Inside the form, I want to have input. So I want a username. I want a user to type in the I want a user to type in the username so that I can check, right, if it is correct or not. So for that, we have an input. We have an input type of text. Input type text. And an ID, I'll give it an ID of username. I'll give it an ID of username. So I'll just quickly come here. I'll just show you what exactly do we have it. We have something like this now. Okay, we have something like this. I can write any input here. All right. Chalo. Before that, I want to have a label as well because I want the user to know that he wants to fill in the username, right? Label for nothing. I want to type in user name. Or chalo, label for username as well. Okay, username. So he'll type in the username here, right? Same thing I'll have for password. Same thing I will have for password. Okay, this will be password instead of username, right? And in order to make it a new in order to move the password to a new line, we have a tag called as break. You just break the line, it will just move on to next line. So if you didn't knew about break, it is a self-closing tag. Okay, it will just leave some space. It will just move on to new line. Let me add another break tag so that I have a new line. Right, so this is now looking good. So after this one, it's present, and let me also give it a label for password, and also let me give it an ID of password. Let me give it an ID of password. Okay. After that, I need a button, right? Whenever I click on the submit button, it will validate the username and the password, and based on my credentials, it will show me some output. So let me also make a what do you say, a button. So I'll say I'll just have an input type of button. Not button. I think I should have an input type of submit, right? And the value should be submit. And before that, let me also make it in a new line. Let me add a break tag. Yes, let me add a break tag. So this thing is clear. What I have done, I've just created a simple form, right? I just created a simple form, and let me give it an ID as well. This ID. Chalo, I do not want an ID because I'll be marking it on submit. Okay, chalo. After that, after my HTML is complete, let me just simply head over to JS. That is index.js, and let me comment all this code out. Okay, let me comment all this code out. Now, in order to listen to your events that is being targeted, there's a thing called as add event listener. There is a thing called as add event listener. Now, let's see. Let's suppose I have a form. I am making a new variable called as form. That is, will listen to an event. That is document.add event listener. Document.add event listener. Now, it will take in two arguments, right? First one will be the type of event that you want to listen. In this case, I would want to listen whenever I submit the form. The second thing is the function. On submitting, which function you need to perform. Let's suppose I want to perform a function, and I'll name it fn for now. Okay, this function I'll make somewhere here. Function fn, and I'll write all those things that I need to perform inside those functions. All the validation thing will have here, right? Let's suppose as soon as I click on a form, I want an event to be targeted. Okay, to make it more clear, let me just have an alert, and let me just type in the form has been submitted. Now, as soon as I click on that, as soon as I click on submit, I'll receive an option that form has been submitted. Right, form has been submitted. Now again, this is not the enough, this is not the complete task. I will have to see, right? I will see that the username and the password that user is entering, I have to somehow get it in my JavaScript file, so that I can compare. I can have I can have an assignment operator, and I can compare the username and the password that I have. So for that, uh, I also get in the, what do you say, an event listener. So let's suppose I'll get all the things by ID. Let's suppose this is a function, and I'm saying var password equals to document.get element by ID, document.get element by ID. And what is the ID for that? It is password only, password. Similarly, I have one for username, var username equals to document.get element by ID, and it is a user name. Now I need to get the values of the username. So we have a method called as dot value. So if I come here, if I just just type in var password value. Okay, var password value equals to password dot value. So now let's see the match, and let's suppose same I want to have it for username. Okay, so I'll have var user value equals to username dot value. Okay, and for your and let's see whether are we getting the value or not. So let's suppose I try to console.log pass value, and I try to console.log user value. Okay, now let's see. Let me comment out this for now. So let's suppose I type in the username as Ritik Masan 10, and I type in the password as Ritik@123. Acha, one more thing, instead of type text, let it have a type password. So let it be type password here. Okay, so if I do password here, it will be appearing to me in the case of an asterisk, right? Similarly to what you have it. So this will represent in case of an asterisk. So let me type in the password as Ritik@123. Obviously, you cannot see what I have typed, but I have typed Ritik@123 here. Okay, now as soon as I click on submit, don't save. I do not want to save the password. It's just for demo purposes. As soon as I click on submit, just give me a second. It says the resource from this was blocked due to mine type HTML text mismatch. Okay, it's mismatching. Let me see. I have a label for username. I have an input type text. I have a label for password. I have input type password, and ID is also password. I have an input type submit, and that value is submit. Yes, I have to use prevent default. Exactly. So I'll tell you what do you mean by prevent default. It's just another concept of JavaScript. So if I do e dot prevent default, so this will just prevent the default action of submitting a form. Okay, I'm not sure if it is capital or if it's small. Let me just check the spelling. E dot, I think it's small only. E dot prevent default. No, it's capital. Okay, it's capital. E dot prevent default. That is camel casing that you have. Okay, that is camel case that you have. E is not defined. Okay, because I haven't taken any E here, so I'll take an E. So I have the username and the password. Okay, I have the username and the password, and simply now I have the username and the password. I just need to validate it. Yes, we need to pass it as a parameter. Okay, now my task is very simple. I'll just say if my username, okay, if my username equals to, let's suppose I'm giving a username of Ritik, and my password. Let's suppose my password is, I want to give it a password of, what do you say? Let's suppose Ritik@123. If it is If it is this case, then I'll just alert successfully logged in. SUCCESSFULLY, successfully logged in. Otherwise, I'll come here and I'll just print out triple equal to. I can use triple equal to. Okay, but I have not covered the concept of triple equal to. That's why I do not want to confuse you guys. That's why I'm using double equal to here. Yeah, but let's see. Yeah, double equal to is also okay because it will just compare, right? Triple equal to also compares the type, but this will only compare the what do you say, the format or this thing, the values. Okay, now let me see. Let's suppose I have written this value, and here if I want to submit, it says username as a what? Let me type in the correct password this time. Let me type it Ritik@123, and let's see. It's still saying correct. Maybe I have to use triple equal to. I'm not sure. Let me just type in the username here, and let me just type in this part. It is Ritik@123. Okay. It is Ritik@123. Now if I click on this, it is still saying invalid username. Let me use only double equal to, and let me use this. Just give me a second. Content, no, content is fine. Content is, if I do also triple equal to here, let's try, because sometimes it needs to have a correct the value, right? If it is in string or number. Don't update. So it's saying input not valid. So let me just try to print out the values that I'm getting. Password is double equal to. Okay. So I'm printing what? Printing password value, and I'm printing the username value. JS accepts triple equal to. Yes, it does. So there are two types of assignment operators, because if you're coming from C++, you only have double equal to, right? But if it is triple equal to, that will also compare the type. It will also compare that whether it's a string or not. Triple equal to is a dot. It is a strictly comparison operator. It will check the content, and it will also check the what you say, the type. That is the string in this case. It is string. If I do it as a number here, like if I do it as what you say, a number here, if I mention a number here, let's use 1 2 3, then this will also compare that whether it's a number or not, right? So this is the difference here. If in if condition, use pass value and user value. Maybe pass value. Oh, exactly. My bad. Thanks for pointing out, Ganesh, right? Thanks for passing. Okay, so I have to use, instead of that, I have to use this, because this is the exact value that we have, right? Not that earlier one, right? Now it will work. So now let's have this username. Let's have a username of Ritik that is initially there, and let's have the username of Ritik@123. Okay, now it is says successfully logged in, because the credentials are correct. Let's suppose I try to somehow disturb my username, and I try to now submit it. Now it will say an invalid username or password. Okay, so there are two conditions to it. If it is logged in, this is a simple else condition. This is a simple if condition. It simply says successfully logged in. If it is not, it will just come to the alert line, and it will just print out alert invalid username or password. Okay, as simple as that. All right. So this is all about the project. As far as the project was concerned, you are free to use your own CSS, right? And own what do you say? And own like property. You can use your own styling, you own colors, or anything that you want to. Right? Basically your own CSS. It's up to you. And please complete this project out. And please you can also what do you say? Showcase this project on LinkedIn, right? You can tag LetsUpgrade. You can tag me as well. That is the project that was done, and things like that. It's up to you. If you want to, you can make it beautiful. You can add bootstrap, you can add tailwind, you can add anything that you want. Make it more appealing and more beautiful, right? That's it. Because the functionality is done. That was all as far as the functionality was concerned. Yeah. Just have to make it beautiful. That's up to you. Whether you want to make whether which background color you want to use, which text you want to use, which fonts you want to use. All these things that depends on you. Okay. With that being said, let me just tell you how do you mark your attendance and how to get the certificate. So today at 7:30 you'll be able to get. I think now you'll be able to get the certificates. It's already 7 past 7:30. So go on to this website, LetsUpgrade.in. The link is also given in the description box. Bootstrap. No, it's Bootstrap. Yeah, not Bootstrap. It is Bootstrap. It is Bootstrap. Okay. Whom to send? Don't send it to anyone. Just like uh, showcase it on LinkedIn, right? Just showcase it to your connection that this is the project that we have made. Okay. So this is how do you market? This is where you market attendance. Go on to this my program section. All right. Click on this. Click on this JavaScript section. So today is day 3. You will have this one. You will have an option to mark the attendance here. So if you want to recommend it, then like fill in this details and which programs are you interested in. So we have some upcoming programs and another and any feedbacks that you have. I'm just typing nothing for now, and I'm submitting the attendance, right? And as soon as I click on refresh, this progress bar will come ahead 60. It is almost 70%, right? And see here you have an option to that's what exactly I'm telling. There is the option to generate the certificate, right? Click on generate certificate, and you have to again mention some details, right? And download the certificate. So I have to unlock it. Kindly enter the details below. Like just fill in your credentials and it will get unlocked, right? Just fill in your credentials and it will get unlocked. Okay. So this was as far as the certificate was concerned. Now the second thing is we currently have 2 programs going. One is Java DSA, right? One is C++. It is coming soon. It is not yet there. It will come soon. Okay. And we also have 2 more. One is full stack and one is data science, right? So the normal boot camps that we do, right? Write in your own address, Aryan. Write in your own address. That's not an issue. Okay. So just fill in this. Just if you want to just explore more about it. So what is the difference between this normal boot camp and a full-fledged course is that it covers all the things in detail, right? Because it is impossible to cover each and everything in a normal bootcamp because of the time constraints. You pretty well know it, right? So with the help of this, you'll get exact what do you say knowledge or the problem solving skills that you have. You can see other benefits as well, right? Other features as well. One is like it will complete the whole program in 3 months. It has 120 hours of live lesson. And the most important part, it will get you a placement guarantee. So within 180 days of the placement, you'll be able to within 180 days of completion of the program, there'll be a short placement guarantee. And I think it says the batch starts on 30th. So if you like to enroll, you can go ahead with that. If you have any queries, you can let the team know. They'll surely get back to you. Similarly, we have a program for full stack as well, right? And the fees is around, I guess, the fees is around 5,900. So this is the fees that we have, right? So if you are interested, please just go through them and let the team know. They'll come to you, right? Another thing that we have is the B.Tech program. So if you are interested, if you are someone who is there, who wants to pursue B.Tech, who is still in the 12th grade, 11th grade, or who is still in the still in college, right? Who wants to join college, who is still who has completed 12th or who is about to complete their 12th standard, and you are aiming to pursue B.Tech, right? You can just explore this option as well. So how is this bootcamp? How is this B.Tech different from other bootcamps? It's simply so. How is this B.Tech different from other B.Techs that you have? It's simply that this B.Tech will guarantee you internship in your final year. Plus, you get a surety of placements that too with a minimum of 8 LPA and more. Okay, that too with a minimum of 8 LPA and more. That is the minimum guarantee that we have. All right, and if you are already in college, you are not. This is none of your interest, right? You are already pursuing a B.Tech. So if you want to refer someone, if you have your friends, your colleagues, your cousins who are planning to pursue B.Tech, you can also share them this referral link. This is provided in the YouTube chat box, right? So you'll also get an advantage, right? You'll get a MacBook or rupees 80,000 if anyone joins via your referral link, right? As simple as that. So please look into that. If you have any doubts, again, you can let the team know. They'll surely come be able to reply you back, right? You can also download the brochures that you have. If you have anything that you are unsure of, then just explore this website. It has each and everything mentioned there. All right. So yes, that was all about this today's session that we have, right? We won't. Just give me a second. I know we earned it from attendance and assignment. Just asking. Yes, Aryan, you have to. I think you have to spend 50 lead coins. Yes. Yes. Okay. So please make sure that you are revising all the lectures. I hope this bootcamp was this bootcamp provided you at least some information to get started with JavaScript at least. Right. I hope you really liked it. So with that being said, let's wrap up the session, right? So let's meet in another bootcamp. So with that being said, I'll take a leave and bye.